That, whatever that is.
ASMR.
We're good to go? All right. Welcome, everybody, to Season 2, Episode 7 of the Table Talk Podcast. We have a fun show for you today. We are excited to have this show today. First of all, I know you're wondering what is going on here. Well, there's a lot going on here, all right? So we wanted to have a little bit of fun. We've had some pretty serious conversations this last month in the Table Talk Podcast, so we figured that this would be the best case scenario is to have a nice little show because, you know, we've been focusing on mental health, and you know what's great for your mental health is some stress reliever, is some painting, okay? So as you guys can see, we are officially live. First of all, can you push the camera way more towards Sada? I don't know why it's pointing like that. A little bit more towards Sada, okay? There you go. That's great. Like I said, this is Season 2, Episode 7 of the Table Talk Podcast. We are officially live. Thank you all for those that are joining us or are here today. Want to introduce the people that are here. You got co-host Sada Thabit, little sis Sada Thabit in the building. Of course, you got myself, Omar Thabit, but today I'm going to be calling myself Omar Picasso. Okay, that is going to be my name, Omar Picasso. So please refer to me as Omar Picasso because that's what I do. All right. Yeah, it looks good, Zach. It looks good. Appreciate it. Got Zach in the back, Ramsey. No, it's okay. We're going to hopefully, the next person should be coming as well. And then you got big sis, Abid Thabit. She's in the building. She's over here. I know you can't maybe see us too well, but we're here. I promise you we are here. And then our guest is Razaan. Want to make sure I said that correctly?
Razaan, yeah.
Razaan, all right. Want to do that? Our guest is Razaan. She is an artist. So this is what she do. You know, she is currently a student at U of M, getting her degree, correct? If I'm correct. She's going to introduce herself and tell us a little bit more. But, you know, looking forward to hearing more about that. Then we have Jenin showing up as well. So she'll be coming hopefully any minute now. So we have a couple artists in the building today. And today we're going to be talking about mastering your art. Art is not just painting or making pictures or drawing and stuff. We're going to get into detail about that as well. So we'll talk about that later. Just want to say, be sure to subscribe to our pages. You have Oz Media 313's YouTube page, Facebook and Instagram, Motivate Me 313, and you can listen to the show later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. And now you can also follow us on TikTok. You know, we were away for a little bit, but we're back. So now we're going to try to give y'all some TikTok videos as well. And if you want to call in, please feel free to call in. The number is 313-306-1750. Again, the number is 313-306-1750. Please feel free to call in whenever you like. We can definitely have a conversation over the phone, all right? I want to give a shout out to the sponsors. You got Balkan House, Hanley International Academy, Qahwa House, and BC Adhesives. So, Ramsey, can you run us the Balkan House ad right quick so that we could give a shout out to the Balkan House restaurant? Just seen Juma today at Hanley. Look at that. Balkan House, Hanley, all of them, you know, small circle. But shout out to the Balkan House restaurant. So go ahead, Ramsey. The Balkan House restaurant. The Balkan House restaurant is famous for their doner kebab sandwich. But did you know that the Balkan House now serves breakfast? Did you also know that all their food is 100% halal? The Balkan House now also have 2 food trucks. So you can book your next party or event with the Balkan House on wheels. Their Hamtramck location is 3028 Kniff Street, Hamtramck, Michigan. Their Ferndale location is 314 West 9 Mile Road, Ferndale, Michigan. Again, you can book their food trucks for your next party or event. So if you're looking for a nice place to eat with friendly service and great prices, look no further than the Balkan House restaurants. Shout out to Balkan House restaurant. Shout out to Juma. Shout out to Hassan. Shout out to Big Hams over there at the Balkan House restaurant as well. All right. So with that said, Abid, what were you just saying right here? You said you wanted to do a theme or something? You wanted to have a certain theme?
Do you guys want to do a theme where we all kind of like draw what we think, like, or whatever we want? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think drawing whatever it is that we want because, listen, I got set up, okay? I think they were talking to each other behind closed doors. They know that this was a competition, all right? They knew that
No
this
one
was...
told me it was a competition.
All right, they knew that this was a competition.
I'm not good at this
I
stuff.
thought we was going to color in numbers, you know, how it was going to already be set up. You know, they came over here with some blank things right here. It's all blank, okay? So we're going to have to come up with our own art. It's going to be a friendly competition. I'm just messing around, all right? But, yeah, we're definitely going to.
Competition. It's just...
I'm going to take a picture of each of our photos.
It's supposed to be chill because we said mental health.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh, okay, there you go. So GG Gamer said, how are y'all doing? Shout out to GG Gamer. We are doing well. It looks like Aham. Is that Aham? I know you can look at it over there at OBS. All right, but with that said, Razaan, how are you? Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. My name is Razaan. Hi, everyone. I'm currently a sophomore at U of M studying art and design, potentially minoring in entrepreneurship. My parents immigrated from Syria and born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. What else do you want to know?
I guess what are your goals after college?
So I'm not quite sure yet. I have like a few interests that I'm still exploring. So creative direction, film, and illustration are kind of like the three things that I enjoy the most. So potentially going in that route after college. I also really like business, so I do see myself working like freelance or um, running my own kind of like small business, and that usually aligns with a lot of artist paths. So I do have my own print shop right now. Shout out to designcreates.com. You can buy prints on there.
Yes.
So I've already kind of like started that journey, but I'm excited to pursue those interests, inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah. That's awesome. I know Abir low key is the artist in the family. Okay.
Yeah, I see her stuff. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Abir is low key the artist in the family. So she definitely can get creative sometimes. So Abir, what are your thoughts on everything? Did you ever want to pursue like an artist or art degree or anything like that?
I mean, to be honest, like I would have loved to just be able to do it, but I knew for like when I graduated high school, I didn't even know how I was gonna go to college,
Yeah.
and then I had a baby, and I was like, okay, I have to try to. I'm not that good, you know what I mean? And then just I have to focus on something that I can, be good at. So I mean, for sure, for fun, it helps me a lot. I wish I went back to painting. I used to paint a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely not to the point where I'll get commissioned or anything like that. So
Yeah. No, I mean everybody starts off like they're like uneasy about it. Like I mean, my decision to even go into art was so last minute. Like
wow.
I literally sent in my application an hour before it was due, and it had like
Oh my god.
I had made the decision to apply like 1 month before the application was due, and so I made all 15 portfolio pieces in 1 month. Like
Wow.
so sometimes like that's what happens, and like sometimes it's easy to psych yourself out and be like, yeah, I'm not good at it, I'm not. But like it's like you tried, right, and it worked, and like your business is popping, inshallah. So
Thank you.
yeah.
There you go. Sada, have you ever thought about doing artist or artwork, anything like that?
Like we said before, art is not necessarily have to be like drawing or painting or blah blah blah. I'm really bad at. My handwriting is bad.
Yeah.
Like
No,
I'm
me too.
I can't do this. This is gonna be horrible. I already know. But I'm really good at beauty art. So I'm really good at makeup, and I love doing other people's makeup. Sometimes I really think that that's probably the calling for me. I like esthetician, makeup, all that good stuff. Like I find it therapeutic in a sense. But no, I don't know. We'll see.
Those
We'll
skills
see.
transfer sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I started in makeup and face paint. So like when I was trying to figure out like what I was gonna do in college, I was like trying to explore different things. So I started face painting for like school events.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is really cool. And then I went into this like volunteer program at a theater in Royal Oak, and I did like stage makeup. And so I was like, this is really nice. Yeah, it was really fun. And so I was like, okay, I feel like this is where I thrive. Like I'm enjoying this a lot. And I love the flexibility of it. And so, you don't know, your skills could transfer onto the canvas. Like it's pretty like much the same stuff. So
Yeah, I'm over here messaging right now because Janine is also gonna be here. That's why that seat is empty. I believe she's here. So, oh, there she is. There you go. She's in the building. There you go. I'm sorry, Janine. I apologize. That's on me, but that is your seat right there. If you want to go ahead and take the seat right there. How are you, Janine? You know Razaan already. This is my sister Abir. You got myself Umar, and my sister Sada right here. So we're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna keep it rolling while Janine gets herself settled in. And my first question to you, Razaan, is basically, what made you want to go into, and what is this art? I guess the category for this art that you do.
yeah. So again, like what kind of motivated me to do it was seeing that like I enjoyed like the hustle of it. I enjoyed the flexibility of it. I don't really like this structured type of career path that a lot of people go into, and so I knew that this was something that I was gonna probably thrive in. And really, it was like during high school that my interest in it peaked. So yeah, I kind of just felt like I wanted to explore that, and so right now I'm exploring illustration, film. So I don't have like one type of art that I do, but generally it's this. I have the same kind of ideas or themes that I like to explore within like all different types of mediums or work.
Nice, nice. And so, Janine, I've introduced you, but if you want to introduce yourself a little bit for those that may not know, what is it that you do and your profession and what made you even get into art as well?
Of course. Sorry, you guys, I'm late. I have no concept of time. It's really bad.
You're fine. No, you're fine. Don't even worry about it.
Of course. So my name is Jenin Yassine. I am a local artist. I studied accounting and finance at U of M Dearborn. I've been an organizer in Dearborn for very long. So I don't know if you guys have heard of For the Banat or Min Ajl al Banat or the Alhamdulillah Coalition. Those are my babies.
Nice.
I also have a nonprofit called Al Samud Center or Markaz Al Samud. It's meant to be kind of like a community center that centers art and organizing, and that's kind of still in the works. So we do programming here and there. We have a women's only book club. We have a Tatri circle. We're currently working on a women only Dabke group that inshallah would transform into a women only Dabke troupe, which we don't see often. So yeah, that's kind of like the work that I do. And then I'm also a painter first and foremost. I used to be really good at sketching, but I don't really do that anymore. I'm a digital artist, and a lot of the infographics at For the Banat are created by me. And I also do tatris, which is a traditional Palestinian embroidery. I'm making a traditional Palestinian thobe. Although, tatris is well known to be Palestinian, it's actually a very Arabi thing and a very Swana thing, that being Southwest Asia and North Africa. So it's a very traditional thing that we have in our culture, but it's really emphasizes Palestinian because they're killing us and they're erasing us and they're trying to take away our culture. So a lot of Palestinians really harbor tatris, and that's kind of why we have that rep.
Yeah, and if you go to your page on Instagram, you got a lot of Palestinian themed artwork as well. So definitely nice to you rocking the Palestinian mashadda as well. So shout out to that right now. So listen, while we are doing this interview, I think that's the plan, right? It's just to be painting at the same time. I know all the paint colors are over here. So we got Zach, my brother, from the Movement Podcast. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to AKA Big General. If you can, you guys will tell him any color that you'd like, and he could even like walk around here and hand it to you. And I guess there's no theme, so I guess you guys can just do whatever it is that you enjoy. Are you looking up pictures right now? I bet cheating. Look at I cheating, man. She's
I'm
already.
like, I hope you don't think I'm rude. I'm just trying to find something like for inspiration.
See, as soon as I said competition, she started looking at her phone. Y'all thought that was not. See, look at her.
No, you get ideas.
I'm gonna take a picture of everybody's thing and I don't know, whatever. We won't have to do all that. So I guess we could definitely paint. I don't know what we're all gonna decide to do. We could have some fun with it. I'm gonna start painting once we start. While they're hearing their answers. But we're gonna keep it rolling. And my next question is, what is it like to be a Muslim artist? I guess so. And what was it like with your families when you told them that you wanted to be an artist? Janine, I'll start off with you on this one. So what is it like to be a Muslim woman artist? Is it any different than, I guess, any other people that you may have talked to? And also, how was that like telling your family that this is something that you wanted to pursue?
That's such a loaded question.
I know, I'm sorry. I know. But I'm trying to give me something that I can start.
No, of course. I would say being a Muslim artist is so challenging. I think being Palestinian and Muslim is even more challenging because oftentimes people see my art, or when I've applied to galleries, they're like, oh, hell no. Like, it's a no, like, this is too radical, so that's the aspect of being Palestinian. Sometimes being visibly Muslim, people don't even give me the chance at all. I remember I went to a gallery and they just looked at me and they were like, no, we don't exhibit your type of art.
No way.
Yeah, and that was like horrifying.
Before you even showed your art?
Yeah, before I even showed it. But I'm pretty sure even if I showed it, it would have been a big no as well. I mean, if me looking like a specific way is, so
that's pretty sad.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a struggle. Yeah, and I feel like there are different like heaviness when it comes to either being Muslim and then being Palestinian and being openly political. And it's really sad to see kind of how the art community is nowadays. So a lot of my art is based on my experiences and based on like how I feel about Palestine and how I am hoping for, a free Palestine, and I'm very vocal about that. And it's not really welcome in the art community, because art nowadays isn't really art. Like, it's not. I don't know. I feel like this is terrible saying it, but I just feel like art nowadays don't really say anything.
Yeah.
It's very like surface level, and it's very white dominated. So people like me don't really belong in the art field, and that's kind of why like a lot of the organizing I do, whether it's for the Banat or whether it's just for Palestine, a lot of it is rooted in art. We've had a lot of healing circles where we center art. We have like coloring sheets, we have tatris, because honestly at the end of the day, like, everyone in a sense is an artist, and we all crave that creativity. But living in this type of world where we're all like on survival mode, where we're all getting jobs, or we're all relying on like, just trying to survive. Some of us come from like really war-torn countries, and we're just taught that, well, we have better opportunities, so let's build like generational wealth. We're not told that we come from a very creative community. We're not told about the history of our culture. Like even things like henna, it's as simple like as henna, which is like absolutely crazy. I feel like henna nowadays is so generic. They all look the same, but when we look at our history of henna, specifically in the Sham, we were so inspired by everyday life. We were inspired by poetry. We could listen to poetry and then translate it to henna, and everyone had like a unique design. It was extremely beautiful and creative and like mindful. And nowadays it's just going back to surface level, because we live in a very surface level world. So I know I took that question and
No, I like it. No, I like the route, because I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And then for my parents, they weren't really supportive. I don't have a studio. I'm not a professional artist. I didn't study art. I do art in my room, so there's always paint everywhere, and it used to drive my mother insane.
Can you put your back up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but while she was answering the answer, after that, Zach can come over here. But hold on, let her finish up, because I don't want you to walk in front of the camera. But how was that like? So, like you said, with your mother and stuff, like it was just.
Oh, it was a battle. She would make me scrub the floor a lot, and I'm like, Mom, I'm just gonna end up having more paint on it. And we ended up like fighting a lot for years. And I think now that I'm an adult officially, she just got tired of it. She's like, خلاص حاولت وهيك هي وشو بدي أعمل. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Zach. You want to come over here, then y'all can start telling him whatever colors that y'all would maybe want. He could hand y'all the whole bottle. So I don't know if y'all got a specific thing in mind.
Could you hand me the orange one?
We got orange.
It's like a peach. It's by the cup, yeah.
There you go.
Yellow and red.
Shout out to Zach, by the way. We appreciate Zach. He is our behind-the-scenes guy. And we also got Ramsey. We want to give a shout-out to Ramsey as well. As a matter of fact, Ramsey, I think this is a good time to run another sponsor, which is going to be BC Adhesives. So, Ramsey, if you want to go ahead and run that BC Adhesives ad, and then you guys can start telling Zach whichever colors you guys would like to do. BC Adhesives, Ramsey.
BC Adhesives. You can go to BC Adhesives for all your industrial adhesives needs. They do food packaging, book binding, product assembly, and many other industrial services. So if you are in need of adhesives for your business or having trouble with your current adhesives applications, you can contact them by phone 1-888-679-9825 or go on their website www.bcadhesives.com.
If you want green, you can use green too, because I'll use his green.
All right. Shout out to BC Adhesives. Shout out to Matt, Terry. We were just at their wedding this past weekend. Razaan, I'm sorry to bother you while you're getting ready, but same question for you, I guess, is basically, how, what is it like to be a Muslim woman artist? What's your experience like? By the way, Jenin, I don't think we're putting enough emphasis on that. That's pretty sad that you have to go through all this. But I'll get back to you on a follow-up question. And then, how was it like for your family when you first told them that this is something that you want to pursue?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with Janine. It's not easy being a Muslim female artist. Like I used to like apply to a lot of different competitions, both global and kind of like international and national. And I would submit a lot of my pieces, and some of them are very political. And I would say they were pretty good for the requirements that were asked. And so seeing a lot of that stuff kind of get denied, and I wasn't told the same things that Janine was told. Like obviously she faced a very like blatant kind of like discrimination for the stuff that she was sharing. But I definitely feel like there are a lot of boundaries both within our community and in the art world. And I was just kind of speaking to someone about this earlier. I am in art school, and it's like I don't think I have a single professor that isn't white, and it's a very different experience to create art that is representative of my experiences and my culture, and like not receive the feedback and the critique that I need in order to improve. And any feedback I am receiving is purely from a white lens. So that's a very difficult kind of, I guess, way to grow. So a lot of it, I feel like I'm relying on other artists like me that I go to for feedback and help, because I'm not finding it in my own art school. But in terms of like my family supporting it, I feel like my parents are, alhamdulillah, they're pretty supportive of it. Of course, at first I did a complete 180. I was initially gonna go into like the medical field. And this was like during high school and middle school. Like I thought I was like so into it. And then when I applied to art school, I kind of didn't really, I think my dad knew I was working on it, but he didn't know that that was like what I really wanted to do. So at first, like naturally he was nervous, because I feel like our parents, as immigrants, they come here and they kind of want you to do the route that's like tried and tested, right? And you can't blame them, because they just want safety and like security for their kids. But I think once he realized that I was able to get opportunities for myself and do really well on my own, I think he was like, okay, maybe this is something that is going to be good for you. And mom was like always on board. She kind of just like knew I was a hustler, so she's like, you'll be fine. And I have 6 siblings, so they're all kind of like cheering me on. They're very supportive of it. But they always make it known that like they were the guinea pigs. So like they went through all the trials of like getting things approved. So yeah, like it probably wouldn't have been easier for my older siblings, but
Yeah, as you said that, Abed was smirking. That's Abed's famous line in our family, by the way.
No,
Go ahead, Abed. You're gonna speak into the microphone and share your thoughts on this.
no, it's definitely very hard for like the older siblings, especially when the oldest girl. I feel like you're the trailblazer for the family in so many different ways.
I agree.
No, I agree, because Abed was the one that had to do the married route and she had a kid, and then so she definitely paved the way, even for herself. I mean, alhamdulillah, she ended up doing it for herself, but
Not just for the girls in the families.
yeah, for everybody that knew her and growing up around her.
100%.
Sada, what are your thoughts right now? By the way, for those that may be just tuning in, so what we're doing is we're having a nice talk. We have Razaan and we have Jenin here, both of them artists, and so we decided, hey, why don't we do some picture or create some art while we're doing a interview with art. It sounds crazy, yes, but I wanted to try it out, and so far so good. It seems like we are enjoying ourselves. At least, I think I'm over here good. Sada's focused.
I'm trying.
Abed was over there looking at things for 20
you guys
minutes.
are gonna distract us. Like I don't
Yeah.
think I'm even gonna come out with a painting at the end.
Yeah, we're doing. Actually, it was on purpose. It's on purpose because we want you all to let us know whose art. I'm gonna post it for fun. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture.
Why does everything have to be a
No,
competition?
now it's gonna be a competition, and that's why I'm focused on this.
As Abed says, why is it a competition?
She
She's over
was
there
looking at photos.
drawing, taking it serious.
Well, she's,
All right.
she's taking the opportunity to make something nice.
There you
I
go.
don't think it's
No,
Yeah, go ahead, Sada. What are your thoughts on everything that's being said right now? Because it's I know we're drawing. I mean, we're painting right now, but this is actually sad that you guys are dealing with this, and it's surprising me. I thought it would be like a little bit more open, at least in the art world. But
no. I think when you're doing, because I'm just gonna assume this is kind of you guys' hobby as well, right? Did it become a hobby first and then became a career, or?
I can go first. It started as a hobby, and I realized it aligned with kind of like my preferences for a career path, just because I like the lack of structure and the flexibility and all of that. So it did start off as a hobby, but obviously not every hobby is something that you can like take into.
Yeah, and I feel like if you could make your hobby into your main source of income, then you're winning in life, because it doesn't feel like you're working. You get what I'm saying? It's just it's something that you enjoy doing every single day.
yeah,
So
no, for
very
sure.
cool.
And I guess my follow-up question to what I was gonna say is, does that ever make you like want to say like, all right, I don't know why I'm doing this, or like you get discouraged when you get that kind of feedback? I mean, I don't know, Jenin, I know you could start off with you, Jenin. Like, do you ever feel like honestly, like I don't know why I'm doing this? Like you question yourself. That's what I was wondering. Then. You said that answer.
So I guess art for me, it's well. Let me tell you how like it all started with me in art, because I think then it would make a little bit of sense. So
I'm sorry. Can you move your mic a little bit closer?
yeah.
Like it has to be facing your
Like this,
Yeah.
like right in front, not from
Yeah.
the side.
just so they can hear you better. I'm sorry.
If you want to, I mean, yep, that's actually
That?
perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, I think I have a different relationship for art, and I actually like disagree with hobbies being like a form of career, because I think in the type of world we live in, it's like virtually impossible. The only way to like make money is honestly at the end of the day exploiting like labor and exploiting others. And that's why I feel like a lot of people get burnt out, because they're not creating the way that they want to. They're creating in a way that is used for consumption. But again, let me backtrack to like help folks understand like where my relationship from art started. So I guess first genetically, my family are very well-known painters. My cousin Ahmed Yassin, he's like a really really famous Palestinian artist. He's the artist that painted on the sabar, which is like a type of plant in Palestine. And he does, and his work is like it like ships internationally from Palestine.
Allahumma barak.
Yeah, mashallah. Aleh. So for me, I didn't really know that I was talented in art. I was just in Nablus. I have a Hawiya, and that basically means that I have Palestinian documentations, but it also limits me that I'm only allowed in specific places in Palestine, and I'm not allowed without a permit in places like Jerusalem and occupied Palestine. So I'm a West Bank citizen, and I remember when I was younger, I was walking around Nablus, and I was feeling very defeated because of literally the occupation. And I was very sad, and I was very hurt and emotionally and physically. And I was walking around Nablus, and I saw this beautiful mural. And in this mural, it was a painting of Palestinians. There were paintings of Palestinian women with vases on their heads, Palestinians on horses. It was a beautiful, vivid mural. And something about that mural just honestly touched me in ways that made me almost want to cry, because at one point I was feeling defeated. I felt like I had an identity crisis. I was really struggling with the occupation, but it's that mural that opened my eyes and told me, hey, like, you're Palestinian and everyone around you is Palestinian, and this is where you belong. And I think about that mural a lot, and it made me realize that there's no such thing as art for the sake of art. It's art for the sake of life, right? And there are so many stories of resistance in Palestine that are only told through art. And so for me, like, art isn't just like a hobby. Art is everyday life. Everything that we do that consists of art is in a way healing. It represents us, whether we choose to use it in the way that we wear, whether we choose to use it in the way we express ourselves through paint or embroidery. Art should be a part of everybody's life, or everybody's everyday life, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah, so what was your question?
No, I guess basically it was like, what would be your, like, what is your initial reaction when you hear someone say something like your art doesn't belong here or something like that, and like, do you get discouraged and stuff like that? But I guess it makes sense. You're basically saying like it's just something that you really enjoy and you're passionate about. Is that where you're going with that too?
Not really. I think art belongs to everybody.
Okay.
I think to be able to say that there's good art and bad art, we're like, again, being implicit into this capitalist culture where we believe that art is used for everybody's consumption, when it should be like every individual's consumption, you know?
Yeah.
And even when you like go to an art gallery, like your perception of the photo is different than, you know, someone else's. And for someone to say that that's not good, or it's, you know,
It's subjective.
yeah. So it's like at the end of the day.
And that's so funny to try to say that, because, you know, we actually, my wife and I went to a museum recently, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, how does certain art get to be called or like priced the way that it's priced? You know, like it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I think it has a more to do with the person that did the art than the actual art. And I mean, you could say I'm wrong, but like there was like simple stuff of like a blank, like it was like a painting of like black painting, but like somewhat smeared. And it was like, I'm looking at it, I'm like what? I was looking at it, and I'm like, I'm be honest with you, I'm like, how does art gets like how does one decide what is great and what is, and it's all, I guess.
The worth.
Yeah, the worth of it, I guess,
I feel the same way at museums because I'm like, some of this does not like deserve to be in here, or like just museums and institutions in general. It's based on who's in power, right? Like who's deciding what is worthy of being in the museum. It's the people that are in power of these institutions, right? There are like general principles of art, like composition and color theory and all these things that like help you look at like, I guess, the value of it from a technical sense. But then like there's the personal meaning of like why the person created the art. So sometimes that outweighs the actual technique that's used, right? So like that person could, like, to us it could just look like black, like smeared paint, but like the person that maybe submitted it had some like elaborate explanation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I feel like it's funny because people expect like all artists to think and feel the same way, like that we're all like very like kind of in our own head and like, oh, like everything is has some sort of meaning. But like I do look at those paintings sometimes and I'm like, no, that's not, I don't consider that art. And to elaborate on what Jenin was saying, being around other creatives in schools, like a really interesting experience because you're seeing what all these types of people are here to do, like why do they make in the first place. And something I struggle with is like, I feel like artists of color, I've generally noticed this pattern, is that they have their desire to create a lot of it comes from the social issues and social injustice that they face, right? And so a lot of times the art that we're creating has a message, or it carries out some sort of tradition or something about culture, right? So like I feel like our urge to create is very different than, I guess, other artists. And so like Jenin was saying, like it becomes a part of you and a part of your life, and it's very important. Like, and I think that's what made me kind of realize that like it wasn't just a hobby, right? And this is something I wanted to pursue full time because there's so much power that comes with it, right? It's an image, but there's no language needed to understand it. There's so much you can do with it, right? And that's just one medium. There's plenty of other mediums that you can work with. So I think what the points Jenin made are really important because a lot of people's statements of artists and their ideas of what the creative industry looks like comes from that lack of understanding and that very shallow understanding of like, oh, well, what do? You just paint? Like, that's all you do? But there's so much more to it. And like, I've gained so much more from art than like any other thing that I've pursued. It's completely, changed the way I view everything. So.
And what made you get into videography? I know you mentioned that as well. So what made you want to get into that?
Well, I feel like I always really liked video and film. I used to like film a lot when I was younger and had this like fake YouTube channel that I ended up deleting because I used to do a lot of stuff like that. I really enjoyed like the editing aspect and like just I felt like I had an eye for like camera angles and all that stuff. And then recently I started taking more video classes. And I'm working on a short film with some other U of M kids, but I really like the way film makes us feel. Like there's so much you can do with it, and it's kind of like it really moves you, and I really like that kind of medium. Like working with the setting, working with the way you capture someone's personality, the way you capture their story. And it's a lot of work, like it's a lot more work than other mediums, but there's just an aspect to it that I don't find in other types of things.
By the way, if y'all heard my sister laughing earlier, it's because she was looking at my picture. All right, she was looking at my
I'm sorry.
art right now, and you don't see the beauty in it. I just want to let you know.
I kind
Okay.
of like how we all can't see each other's canvases.
No, I've been looking at
Oh,
mine.
yeah.
I've been looking at.
I wish I didn't.
Oh.
I'm missing it. We tease each other a lot. I don't know.
No, Ibe's over here looking good, Sada. You better watch out. By the way, if Jenin's and the Razans is too good, we're probably not gonna include them in the competition. It's gonna be like, here's the artist, and then the competition's gonna be between the tabletop people. But what you about to say, Ibe?
No, I just think that.
Make sure you're talking to the mic, by the way.
I just think that, you know, with anything artistic in a way, people like to not take it seriously. In that aspect or whatever, but I love the fact that you guys are not letting that affect you in any way. And I wanted to mention this earlier, hearing all the different types of organizations that you're starting, a lot of them are women empowered, which I love. I'm all for that, for sure. And then adding the aspect of art in it. So
For sure. Sada, any comments or thoughts right now?
I do completely agree with Abid what she said, how when it comes to art, people don't take it serious. And again, that doesn't just go with like painting and whatnot. It could be
Music.
yes, music. And I think that if you have the talent and you believe that you have the talent, go for it.
Especially nowadays, right? With social media now, I think it's like, I mean, I guess it makes it like there's more people out there now because of social media too. I guess that's another knock on it. But you could, you know, somebody can see their exposure. You know, your art can get the exposure that you're hoping that it gets. So with social media, do you feel like social media has helped artists, or do you feel like it's like kind of like made everyone an artist, and so now there's so many artists, and you can't really differentiate from one or another? Any one of you guys can answer that one first. By the way, Jenin, you want to start off with that one?
Sure. So I actually think social media kind of destroyed art, but I don't think it's necessarily like because of social media. I think it's just that we as a society and as a people just don't really appreciate art unless we like selfishly can associate it to ourselves. So oftentimes, like, I feel like when I was younger and I was trying to be big, like with art on social media, I felt like in a sense it kind of destroyed me, and it got me into this path where I wanted to create for the people instead of creating for myself or creating for a deeper meaning. So yeah, I just, that's why I'm always like, well, I don't think that we should be creating for the consumption of others. I don't think we should be creating art for the sake of just putting it on a t-shirt or like, you know, for stickers for people to print. We should be creating what we are seeing, what we are feeling, because then that's when we're creating for ourselves.
Nice. How about you, Razaan?
Yeah, I mean, social media is the way you use it, right? So,
Yeah.
like Janine said, I think it really does depend on how wrapped up you get in it. Because it's so easy to just be like, oh my God, like, how do I do this? Like, so much pressure. And then, again, it's easy to fall victim to, like, creating for the consumption of others, especially with just, like, trying to grow your page or make more connections or network. Because that's something I've definitely struggled with, because I try to balance like being vulnerable about what it means to be in the creative industry and like showing like the good and bad. Like, you know, I don't always have these like successful works of art that I post, right? And it takes a while. Like I think people with social media, people can expect you to be consistent and posting all the time, but artwork is like, it takes a long time to produce pieces that you really care about. So it's really easy to get wrapped up in it. But I also think it's helped because I've made a lot of connections with people through social media, people that have found my work through just like searching me up or somebody shared my stuff with them. So I don't think I would have had that access or had that type of result if I wasn't on social media.
Makes sense. It makes sense. So I know you guys kind of talked about some of the stuff that y'all do. Do y'all want to maybe get into like a little bit more detail of like some of the major stuff that y'all produce and y'all make with art? Razaan, can start off with you, I guess.
Yeah, well, I kind of jumped right into art school, so I didn't have a lot of time to make pieces like for myself, but I've done a lot of commissions, like made a lot of pieces for other people. Generally, the themes I like to paint or explore in my artwork are like political stuff or cultural stuff. I did, yeah, that's the one I forgot to bring with me today, but I did a series on exploring different cultures, I think 2 years ago. It was during COVID. So I really like working on stuff that's cultural because I feel like it gives me an excuse to kind of like do all the research I want and learn about it, especially since I sometimes feel so disconnected to it because you know, my parents were born there. I wasn't. I didn't get to go back that much. I went when I was 2 to Syria. So I really like to focus on those themes. But yeah, like right now, I don't have like one set of style or one type of medium I use. So kind of just focusing on those themes and creating them through those different types of mediums.
Razaan, what high school did you go to?
Frontier.
No way.
Yeah.
I graduated from Frontier '08, the first graduating class.
I was gonna say, I was like,
I did too. I
first
graduated from Frontier as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about that chapter of our life.
Yeah, we don't.
Well, listen. First of all,
That is actually so funny.
that's
We're not.
But you're a 2020 graduate?
Yeah, graduated during COVID.
I bet it was valedictorian of her class.
Really?
Yes.
There was like only we were the first.
Make sure you talk into the microphone,
There
please.
was only 16 of us.
Wow.
We were the first ever graduating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's gotten bigger.
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure. Well, thank you, Janine. Do you want to mention some of the stuff that you do? I know you kind of touched on it, but you want to get into detail?
Sure. So for me, again, like art is a form of communication, especially when it comes to like, I guess in a sense, oppression. And so a lot of the work that I do, especially through my art for the Banat, is I do create infographics, just kind of communicating and educating the community of how like things like rape culture and misogyny apply, and what that looks like in a very visual aspect. And again, because we're all in a sense like artists, I feel like when I do my infographics, it does kind of look like a kid's book. So I feel like people tend to read it or tend to like absorb it better than it being like an essay, for example. I also do work with other organizations that are paid. For example, the Palestinian Feminist Collective are coming out with a calendar, and one of the months my art is on there. I think it's just about solidarity, which is a digital piece. We are doing an art exhibit in Detroit commemorating Al Nakba, so it's going to be starting my art, and the theme is like Palestine and Orientalism. And basically, Orientalism is kind of like, well, do you guys know what Orientalism is?
I don't want to take a guess and be wrong, so you want to tell us?
I mean, if you're wrong, it's okay. Unfortunately, it's not as a common name, but under the definition of Edward Said, who is a Palestinian intellectual, he's a Palestinian Christian, he's really well known. He wanted to make sense of why our countries were colonized, right? And so he kind of used like French and Algeria as the main example. French invaded Algeria to justify that they were like barbaric people, and the French were elite and they knew how to live society well. So they went in to teach the Algerians how to be decent people in a way. And just also understanding how, like, for example, the European royal family used to use like spices in their portraits to look ethnic because it was unattainable by commoners, and that kind of showed them power. So in a way, Edward Said was kind of communicating how our community, not only like Arab, but also other marginalized communities, are othered. For example, like in Dearborn, when folks are like, oh, these Dearborners are going to bring Sharia law to America, that's like a form of othering, that there's something wrong with them. And then there's this also another aspect of Orientalism where like people fetishize our culture, like the Shriners in Michigan who use the tarbouche as a form of like for their fraternity. You know, they call themselves Ahmed in the fraternity, they call themselves Aleppo, kind of like using our culture and our customs as a costume. So the theme is just under Orientalism and Palestine, just kind of making sense of the way we and our bodies and our experiences are kind of fetishized in the West, but also the way that we are othered and our oppression is like justified, like women are oppressed, hijab is bad, blah, blah, blah. So it's really exciting. We're also taking like art submissions that'll probably be open in February where folks in the community can apply to have their art exhibited. So yeah, that's something that I'm currently working on, and I have to do 20 paintings, which has been stressful, but
Nice.
You got this.
It's a good stressful though.
Yeah.
not really.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. And so I guess my next question is, why do you feel it's important for people to find what they love doing and to pursue it, whatever that may be? I know we kind of talked about this, but Sada, I'm gonna start off with you. Why do you feel like it's important for people to find what it is that they love doing and to pursue it?
I think it's really important because you don't want to wake up almost 5 days out of the week doing something that you don't like. You will only dread it. Not only will you dread it, but you will dread your whole entire life. So going back to what I said, it's that's why it's nice to, if you're a school person, go to school, get that degree. If you're not a school person, learn, you know, learn something, learn a
Trade.
trait. Yes, learn a trait. Try to make money off of it. I think that especially in this time of age, because of social media, you know, people are selling anything from their kitchen, from their house, from, you know, really taking pride on their traits and their hobbies and making money off of it. So if you know what you're good at, try to find it in a way where you could also make it into a career, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even if it's in your own, like, you know, if it's from home, you know, if you're your own boss, whether if you need friends and or people to work with that as well, and then just go from there.
I bet. What are your thoughts on that? Why do you feel it's important for somebody to find what they love doing and to pursue it?
You're like it might take you longer than normal to find your passion, but when you realize something that you can, you know, do and make your imprint in the world, I feel like take it and go with it. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You want to impact the people that you can impact in a way where it's memorable. Do what you love, and you never work a day of your life. I teach first grade. I love it. Yes, there's days where I want to pull my hair out and they drive me nuts. But at the end of the day, I feel fulfilled. I feel like, you know, what I'm doing is important. I feel like I'm, you know, making a difference. And if that's in the classroom or on a canvas, I feel like, you know, do what you want to do.
Nice. Razaan, what is your thoughts on that question? Like, why do you feel it's important for people to pursue what is that they love doing?
Yeah, I mean, 100% agree with that. I think it does make a difference when you enjoy what you're doing. Obviously, it still feels like work sometimes. Like, sometimes I'm like, man, I don't care to paint right now. Like, I could not care
Yeah.
any less. But I think it is important because it shows up in the way that it shows up in every aspect of your life when you're really miserable about something that you have to show up to. But I also know that some people, you know, like they pursue what they really like on the side, and that works for them because if it makes them happy that their bills are paid and they don't want to turn their hobby into something that stresses them out, then they're okay with doing it on the side. And so I think it's really important to kind of like assess your preferences and your priorities. Like if you can't stand having to know whenever not know whenever your hours are, not know when you need something done, then that's not something that you can do with a hobby. Maybe you have to do something that's more stable. So I think it just depends on assessing your needs, right? And through that, I think you can figure out like what kind of balanced life you want.
Nice. No, I agree. No, definitely like that. And Janine, same question for you. Why do you feel it's important for people to pursue what it is that they enjoy doing?
I don't know. I feel like just reflecting on that question a little bit, I just feel like we can't really pursue our hobbies all the time, and that's not necessarily a like kind of a factor of how talented we are. Like, for example, in the art world, being talented isn't what's going to make you a great artist anymore, because often it's dominated by, let's be honest, like white supremacist rich people who get to decide what is good art and what isn't. That's why we're finding surface level art. So, you know, we really need to change kind of like the way society is moving right now, because it's not great. And it's not allowing us to be able to make money out of like our skills and our talent. Like if we think back like culturally in our own histories, we had amazing poets who were well off because everybody valued poetry and they were able to make money. Whereas like a poet right now might be struggling and they'd have to get another job because there's no room for them, or we're not allowing room for them in our society. At the end of the day, I think we should all follow, or I think that our bodies are one of our biggest, most significant tools in navigating the world. We can't go to a 9-to-5 job and just live like that. We need to do something that we enjoy. We need to do something that makes us fulfilling. And unfortunately, in this kind of world, like, we might not be able to make money out of the skills, no matter how talented we might be. So I'm so sorry.
No, she's
No,
always
it's a
deep,
sad- it's a
very
sad
deep answers, by the way. Very deep answers. I really, I mean, it makes you think, and I agree. What were you about to say, Abir?
No, it's definitely the sad truth because I'm kind of living proof in a way. Like I teach, I love it. You know what I love to do. I love the fact that I have to wake up 6 o'clock every day and clock out at 4. No, I love decorating. I have a decorating business on the side, and it's sad because that's not something that I know for a fact. Like I would take the time and probably take some time off teaching and focus on that, but I can't because at the end of the day, I don't know if I'll get a booking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
who knows? Like when it'll actually, like it's like whatever
Yeah.
comes. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why it feels like if you're going the creative route full time, you can't just be an artist. You have to be an entrepreneur. You have to be a hustler. You have to be tech savvy. Like, and not a lot of people want to pursue that because then so much of the focus ends up being on all those aspects instead of like
What you love.
started
Yeah.
on in the first place, right? And so I'm noticing that, but for me that's something I enjoy. Like I enjoy the business side of it and I enjoy the hustle. Who knows, I might get burnt out. Like I might honestly get burnt out at some point, but that's why it's like if you do choose to go that route, you have to have a safety net. So and for you pursuing that on the side, like at least like the teaching is something you also enjoy, right?
Yeah.
It's exhausting, but you're
Yeah,
still
that's the
enjoying
only
it.
part. Yeah.
And it's so important. Like you're literally teaching the next generation. Like you're extremely valuable, and you're probably like don't feel that half the time.
Yeah, no, and the pay sucks. So
Yeah.
I can say that on both ends.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree with everybody's answers. You know, for me, it's just doing something that you love, obviously, is important. Finding something that you enjoy doing. It might not be your number one priority, but at least find something that you love doing and try to pursue it because you don't want to wake up every day. And even when you are doing something you love, like Razaan said, you still feeling like you're going to work, but at least you're doing something that you enjoy. It's not fun finding or doing something that you don't even enjoy, and especially if you feel like you're not being treated fairly, and whatever it is that you're doing, they're not supporting you or showing you the respect that you feel like you deserve. That's when you got to start thinking about doing something differently. So, my next question is: if you were an artist, what would you be doing? And I know you guys kind of already have some things, but if you were an artist, I guess maybe what were you thinking of doing before you even became an artist? Or if you were an artist, I guess what would you be doing? Starting off with you, Jenin, if you want to. Yep, sorry. Yeah, I had to get you. And by the way, I don't know where y'all at in the paintings. Is everybody kind of closer to finishing, or I just wanted to gauge of where everybody is at.
I'm done.
Okay.
Same. I think I'm pretty much done.
Okay.
I need like
I should have asked Abby more questions. She's over here. Oh man, she took a serious.
not really.
She took a serious. Look how many paints she got in front of her. All right, all I got is 3. All right, I had 3 colors. All right, but go ahead, Jenin.
Sure. So I'm not like, I have 2 jobs right
Yeah.
now. So I'm an accountant in the morning,
Okay.
and then I do canvassing with Muslim Power at night usually, and then also I'm an organizer, and then also I'm an artist. So I feel like I don't have time to breathe. But I feel like if I wasn't capable of art, what I used to do before is I used to play the guitar, and I used to. I know, I was so good at it too.
You're gonna have to teach me some.
I haven't played, and ever since I discovered art, I'm like, okay, bye, it's teacher. But I think maybe I would have been into more music, I guess. I feel like I would have definitely figured out a creative outlet. And inshallah, Allah can ya'awudni. Like, okay, he gave me these painting skills now. Maybe he would have given me a voice or, something else to, I guess, expand.
Okay. How about you,
Wait,
Razaan?
when you mentioned the second job that you have, what was it?
So I canvass, so I just make sure Muslims are able to vote.
Oh,
especially
okay.
during midterm
Okay.
elections, yeah. It's like Linda Sarsour's org, Empower, it's called.
Nice.
How about you, Razaan?
I was originally interested in forensics, which is like completely different. But
I
in
don't know why I can see you doing that.
in high school,
What is that?
forensics is like when you watch like Criminal Minds. So people who are kind of like analyzing the evidence and the body, pathology. Like it's kind of like a general term. So I was interested in that just because of the shows I watched. But obviously, it's very different, like in real life.
Yeah.
And so in high school, like anything I was interested in, I was like, I need to find people to talk to so I can see if this is what it's like. And I spoke to a forensic pathologist, and she's like, it's nothing like that. She's like, it's very slow, and if you want something fast paced, like this is not the career for you. You're in the lab like 24/7, so all of that like on site crime scene stuff, that's like very police heavy. Like you have to go through police academy, and then like you testify a lot, so like it was just very different. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I see myself in this. And so it was kind of like one of the medical pathways that I was thinking of doing. But honestly, if the medical field didn't have such a long education path, I would probably
Same.
have done something. But I just,
100%.
I don't like school. Like as much as I enjoy art, and I'm, you know, in art school right now, I hate the rigidness of it. It's like, it's so consuming. So like you can't really function until you're out. So
Yeah.
I'm just, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And I definitely agree with that as well. And so for those that are watching or eventually watching, just want to go over this one more time. So basically, we have Jenin and Razaan here. They are both artists, and so we wanted to have a little bit of fun. So we are all painting a different picture here while we're having an interview. I wanted to try something new. I was like, let's have some fun with it. Let's do something different. And I'm glad that we were able to get Jenin and Razaan here today to be on the show. So I appreciate both of you being here today. Jenin, we forgot to offer you anything to drink. Do you want any water or coffee? We have both of those over here. If you want us to bring it, Ramsey's right there. If you want him to bring you a coffee, you want some coffee, some Qahwa House, by the way. Shout out to Qahwa House.
Oh, yes, Lamo. I think just water, wallah.
Okay. Thank you, Ramsey. I appreciate it. Shout out to Ramsey again. He's in the back right here producing. Middle schooler is out here, got the camera, got the sounds and everything going. So yeah, we got art over here in front of us. We're gonna show you. We're gonna show you all of our art eventually once everybody finishes up. And Abir is over here trying to perfect her wonderful art already, but it's okay because this is what she does. Like I told y'all, she enjoys it. She's an artist behind
I'm
scenes.
not. I don't,
All right, she's an artist behind scenes.
I
But go ahead, but yeah, I like messing with Abir. But yeah, with that said, I guess going into maybe even the last question is, what advice would you give somebody that wants to maybe become an artist or pursue some kind of art but don't have the motivation or they're quote unquote they don't have the time to do it? I guess what advice would you give them if they're struggling with motivation, inspiration, or they say that they don't have the time to do it, knowing that when you pursue your art, by the way, I don't think we've touched on this yet, but how it like helps you mentally and how it helps you relax, whatever it may be. Poetry, people that do the music industry part, people that do paintings, whatever it may be. I guess let's start off on that. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, does it relax you? And, do you enjoy it, Janine?
I guess I used to say, or I used to tell people and say, like, my best paintings are when I'm having a mental breakdown and I'm, like, crying in front of the canvas. But I think as I grew up, I realized it's actually just healing. Like, painting has helped me process. And usually after I read a book or after I'm going through, like, something really emotional, I think painting has really helped me process the situation. And, like, I'm able to look at my paintings and feel like they're just a snapshot of like a certain time in my life. Like they're my Instagram page, like, oh, like that was when I was feeling upset over that person, totally forgot their name, but that's so funny,
Yeah.
So I think as long for those that are struggling to create, like, remember and affirm that you're creating for yourself and not for others, and that maybe don't try to think of it in an aspect or in this, like, I guess this is expectation that you're supposed to create good art. Just create whatever you're doing, and if you love something, you'll always find time to do it. So
Nice. That's a great answer, Razaan. Dishing it to you. I guess the first question is, is art like another healing mechanism for you? And then what advice would you give somebody that's struggling to pursue it with motivation, inspiration, and stuff like that?
Janine with the deep answers, man.
Yeah,
Just
she
putting
does,
us
man.
to shame.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
Yeah, it's definitely healing. I feel like when I really got invested into it was a really tough period or time in my life, and so it was a really great way to kind of process things, and it was a perfect outlet. Like, I mean, you're producing things as you're kind of grieving or whatever you're going through, right? And so it is very healing. It's still very stressful, obviously, when you're trying to create projects and obviously make your work transcend just outside of what you do, right? And so I would say for people who feel like they can't find the time or the motivation for it, if it's something you really want, you will make time for it. And if it's like a hobby that you want to get into, I would say the extra time that you do have, whether it's like binge watching Netflix, whatever, take the time to do that as you're doing that, right? So like if you want to watch your show, pull out a canvas, just get started. It's all about just kind of immersing yourself in it. I feel like we always feel like we need to be perfect, we need to have everything ready, and like Janine said, like your work, it doesn't have to be this beautiful, amazing painting, right? Like if you just want to get into it, you know, you'll progress eventually, you'll get better at it. But yeah, like I feel like my first year of art school really sucked. Like I feel like it really sucked the energy out of it. It didn't feel as healing because there's so much like pressure to do well. I remember my first day of class, we had to like draw like from like still life. So there's a bunch of objects and she literally told us to just draw. And then like you have all these like people around you who are like international students who've been trained since they were like 3 in art. And I had literally gotten started like that year in trying to like figure out if I wanted to do art. And so I remember feeling like I was like, this doesn't feel like fun anymore, right? And obviously I got past that class. Like it was an intro class. They were just trying to push you to perfect your technique. But I was like, literally it was like Picasso right there. And my work didn't look anything like that.
Were you pointing at me when you said Picasso, by the way?
No,
definitely. Okay. Because I'm Omar Picasso today, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see.
Nah.
No, I mean, yeah, so it's easy to get lost in that. But generally it is healing and it's enjoyable for me. So.
Yeah. Are we allowed? Do we have to show the art live, by the way? Can we just hide this, by the way?
No,
I'm just going to grab this picture behind me and act like this was me.
I went about around August. Me and my friends for one of her birthdays, we did the clay bowls. We made bowls and stuff like that, and then we painted the bowls. And my bowl was horrible compared to the rest. It was so embarrassing, and now I just use it for my kittens' food. So
No, you have no idea how much I love ugly ceramics. I've been trying to buy one of those like really bulgy mugs. I love them.
I'll give it to you for
They're
free,
a
girl.
new category. Like ugly ceramics sell. Like
Yeah,
people like that.
seriously.
No, but it was really therapeutic. It was
Yeah.
so fun. And even like last year for my job, I had to go to this like a week what was it? Training.
Mhm.
And it was a week. And I had none of my coworkers, it was just me. And it
Yeah.
was like all these random people. And it was like talking for 5 hours and break and then another 3 hours. And I wanted to like literally jump off the walls. And they had crayons and coloring books, and that's what made me go through. Like I was just like sitting there, finished like 2 books, and I'm just like, wow, I should do this more often.
Yeah.
But
No, even when I had to take an art class for my education degree because it's a comprehensive. So like just in case they don't have an art teacher, we can like jump in. But anyways, and then the teacher made it a huge point to when students are drawing something, we never should say, oh, that looks good or that looks beautiful. We have to actually kind of talk about whatever the technique they used. Oh, I love how you use the red.
Yeah.
Or I love how you know what I'm saying? So there's no bad or ugly painting. Okay?
Why you looking at me when you said ugly or bad painting? I mean, what's going
I'll
on?
show you one.
Hold on. Before we do that.
I
No,
just
you have to
laughed.
look at me.
Laugh because I knew that you would do something to do with that.
All right. So a couple things. First of all, give a shout out to the people. Biggest fan of Oz Media said, I'm the best artist, saying hello from Ann Arbor, by the way. And then look at you, Razaan said Isra or Israbi. Okay, I don't want to mess that up. Did I say that right?
Isra, I think.
Isra B.I. then? Because there's a B.I.
That's her last name.
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Caltrade Troop, best show on Tuesday afternoon. Shout out to Caltrade. Then my wife said, let's see the paintings. I'm curious, okay? So this is the time when we do that. But before we do that, I just want to say, for those that are struggling, like my point of view is, I agree 100%. First of all, it's very, very therapeutic. Like people are sleeping on it, man. I know guys be like, oh, I don't paint. It's not what I do, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I painted with my wife a couple times. This time right here, every time it's just I enjoy it. I see my daughter sometimes. She has homework. She'll start coloring. I'm like, let me grab a crayon right quick. Start, help you out a little bit. So it's fun. It's definitely keeps your mind busy, and you're doing something that is calming you and it's relaxing. So I can see definitely the therapeutic part of this, and that's with everything. Like with me, I enjoy writing, and so writing can be therapeutic for me. Whatever it may be, poetry or just in general, anything. So definitely look into something because it's something that gives you balance in life. You need that balance.
I do want to say something. You can tell a real artist. They literally only use like 2 brushes for their whole canvas, and then like I used all my brushes.
used all my brushes,
and I
too.
stole some of his.
No, I mean,
No, that's the right way.
yeah.
I'm just like I'm not trying.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if y'all ready. How y'all want to do this? One by one?
Yeah,
One at the same time? All right. So,
And,
Sada.
like, talk about your why what were you thinking when you were doing?
Okay.
I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the camera and see so Sada, you could go through your pictures. I just want to make sure people can actually see them from where you're at. So I'm looking at the camera right here. You don't got to zoom in. We don't got to zoom in. I don't know yet. We'll see. Sada, you want to go ahead and show yours? Oh, that's not bad. People can see it.
That's really good.
People can see it. I can see it right here.
All right, so I got a hill full of flowers. I got birds.
You want to
flying.
move it this way because the mic is blocking it. Yeah. There you
and
go.
then I got a tree with some, I don't know if they're apples or cherries. I was undecided. And then we have a beautiful blue sky with some clouds and a sun.
I guess I'm next. Huh?
Thank
Well,
you.
I got a wonderful Spartan S. That's go green. It looks like
That's why that's why
Go blue.
it looks like a number 2 or a 5. All right. Or whatever it may be. But if I want to connect it, I'm going to say that I was number 5 in high school. So this is a 5/S, okay? My reasoning behind it, well, first of all, obviously, this is MSU U of M, not official week, but it's MSU U of M. They're playing each other next week, but they're both on bye, so they don't have a game this week. So our next opponent is each other. So got to represent, obviously, I graduated out of state, and knowing that there's a U of M grad here as well, kind of got to send a subliminal message before the big game. And pretty much everything I do is MSU as well. I probably would have guessed that I was going to do something like this. So, yeah, terrible S, but everything is art. It's all about the person.
I love how you used green.
Thank you. I love how you gave me a positive, whatever that's called, affirmation. Appreciate it. So Ibid is over here is about to at least dog me and Sada.
No, not at all.
By the way,
I
Sada,
can
yours
see
is
it
not
from
bad.
the side, and it looks really good.
No.
Yeah.
So I teach first grade, and I thought about color pencils.
I'm just laughing because it's. I'm gonna still take a picture of these, by the way, and post them and let y'all know who did what and stuff.
And yeah, so I made some color pencils.
It's
With
so
my name.
That is really cute.
Yeah.
Like, might as well post it in my room.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like a cute door frame type of
100.
thing. Yeah.
There you go.
Very nice.
There you go.
That's actually very, very
Very
cool. Very cool, Ibid.
I'm
Jealous? I wish you put an R so I could take it, Mr. Thabit.
throwing this one in the garbage.
No, don't. Have Amila.
You can reuse it. You can just paint right over it.
That's what I was gonna like. Blending is. I'm not a I'm very red, blue, green, but
Yeah.
I better show the picture a little bit more. I mean, I wasn't looking at the camera, but make sure you kind of show yours so that people can see it. From this
really
3-4 seconds.
colorful color pencils.
Looks very nice. Razaan?
All right. I went with a basic sunset.
Wow.
Can we trade?
You can have it. I got too many canvases at home, so.
I love it.
That looks actually
love the
great.
blending.
That's very nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really do acrylic. I do watercolor. So I know this is very much Jenin's forte, but I feel like the blending part is like my favorite. It's just the most relaxing. So that's kind of what I went with. Yeah.
I should have went for a sunset kind of theme as well.
Yeah.
Looks really cool. Jenin, you want to go ahead and show your boys picture?
It's not my greatest work, but I just did a bird.
Oh
Wow.
Yes, that's very nice.
Wow.
The abstract.
Is
Look at
there.
that.
And it's
Yeah, it's gonna pop up
Looks like it's-
eventually because that's like 3 seconds slower. But yeah, that is very nice.
And what I noticed about both of you is that you're the way that you use your paint is like you have a popping you use a
Like
thick
3D
amount
kind
to like
of?
it,
Yeah, I like the texture.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more
And I'm
fun.
like I have to smooth this out, but that looks sweet.
I mean, it's all different styles, right? I mean, her work is all texture. It's really beautiful. Like, so.
No, did you guys see how I tried to make the grass 3D? I'm just joking.
Yeah, well,
This was so nice.
yeah, this is actually very cool. This is very cool. This is awesome. Just first of all, before we give our final words, again, this is season 2, episode 7, Table Talk podcast. We're, the title's Mastering Your Art. We're here with Jenin and Razaan. Both of them are artists. Be sure to subscribe to our pages: YouTube, Oz Media 313, Facebook and Instagram, Motivate Me 313. If you want to listen to the show later, it'll be posted on Oz Media, Apple and Spotify podcasts, Oz Media. You can also follow us on TikTok, Oz Media, and then calling in for future reference numbers 313-306-1750. Again, shout out to our sponsors, the Balkan House, Hanley International Academy, Qahwa House, and BC Adhesives. We appreciate them as well. This is a time for final word. If anybody wants to close this out, or any kind of final comments that you may have, Jenin, we'll start off with you. What is any final comments that you want to say, advice?
Well, actually, I don't really have anything, but thank you guys so much for having me. It was so much fun painting and talking with folks. And yeah, do what you want to do.
How can people follow you? How can people reach you? Maybe even book you for something? Does they may need a painting or something?
Sure. So Sarhana is my Instagram art page, SR7ANEH, and then my website is sarhana.com.
Nice.
I have a question for both of you. Do you rather do digital or this, physical?
For me, I actually have a really love-hate relationship, mostly hate with digital, but again, it's for consumption, it's accessible, and it gets the work done. For me, the bigger the better. I want to murals, huge paintings. That's where my heart gets so happy doing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I just started working digitally. It's a completely different type of work. I feel like it makes things a lot more easier. It's more efficient, but my comfort zone is obviously the traditional painting. So
100%.
yeah.
All right, we got a phone call. I don't know if it's personally for me or if it's a caller, because I don't want to not answer this. But go ahead. Want to any final word that you may have, Razaan?
You guys can follow me on Instagram, Razaan Creates. I spell my name with 2 A's after a Z because I know a lot of people spell it differently. I'm also on TikTok, same handle. And I have a website, razaancreates.com.
And then do you guys also do, for instance, if someone wrote a book, would you be, open to illustrating the book, or is that something that you guys are not into?
It's a great question.
I do book illustrations. I'm working on one right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I did academic illustrations, so research papers, but when I was younger, I actually did make my own child book.
Wow.
Does that count?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was pop-up and everything.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Well, would you be open to someone say, for instance, if there was an author that was looking for a illustrator, would you be open to that?
Yeah, of course. I kind of do that work, but yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. That's great to know for future reference for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you called and you were trying to call in, please feel free to call back. I'm sorry, that was me. I just didn't want to answer because I didn't know, but feel free to call back if you wanted to say anything to these wonderful artists that are here today. Yep, there you go. See,
Unknown caller.
They're listening. All right, gotta make sure I press 1. All right, I'm terrible with this. Hold on 1 second.
Hello.
Yes, who do we have calling?
Hi, my name is Samaya.
How are you?
It's one of my friends.
Good.
Who's calling, by the way?
Samaya.
Sumaya.
Sumaya? It's a Sumaya? Okay. Are you calling? Are you watching the show right now?
No, I'm not. But
Oh.
my friend is on.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, how are you doing, Sumaya?
Good.
So Razaan is the friend, by the way, that you're referring to?
She's a fellow artist. She's a graphic designer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, first of all, Sumaya, I don't know if you've seen the artwork. Did you see the artwork that we just showed right now?
No, I'm not. I'm
She
not
hasn't
on
watched it.
Instagram right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you calling in to give a shout out, by the way? Are you? By the way, somebody commented that I'm crying. That Isra is crying right now. But yeah, did you have a question, by the way, for the panel here?
I guess if you guys are also artists. or
No, we
Not at all.
if you've seen my picture, you know the answer to that question before you asked it. But no, we just kind of do a table talk show. We have a podcast show. We wanted Jenin and Razaan to come on the show and talk to us about being artists. And we are actually all painting. While we're having the show, we wanted to try something different.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I just had a question, I guess, for them too. Is like, how do you guys find time to, like, do your work and still feel motivated to do more work?
Nice. That's a great question. So, how do you find time to do your work and feel motivated to do more work? So, Razaan, we can start off with you.
Yeah, it's funny because she's like one of my best friends, so we just had this conversation. But I guess it's very easy to get burnt out in this field. So kind of knowing when to step away from the work is really important, and just eliminating things that aren't as important. So like, I don't really watch TV. I don't really waste time in that sense. I mean, I waste time on other platforms, but I don't let myself kind of get drained by things like that because there's just so little time. And so the time that I am devoting to my artwork, like, I have the energy for it because I'm not drained by that stuff. And so I think it's just figuring out what your priorities are, and that kind of helps you, I guess, have the motivation because you're not as drained by things that aren't as important. So
Nice answer. And by the way, people are demanding that we show the paintings one more time, by the way. So they said all at once. Do you want me to hold yours and you hold mine and act like this one is yours? And here you go. This is the wonderful painting. I'm assuming everybody would know which one is mine, by the way, Ramsey. You agree? Ramsey's in the back right quick. So like I said, it'll pop up on the television screen. So this is all of our paintings. I hope you guys can see them. I'm going to be posting a post probably tomorrow with all of our paintings asking
Oh God,
which one you enjoy, or,
Oh my god.
kind of put that. All right. I mean, we don't got to do that. I'll just say, like, here's the paintings from yesterday, enjoy or something. But Jenin, do you want to answer that question basically? Is how do you find time and how you keep yourself motivated?
Sure. So through organizing, through my job, I do everything literally for everyone else in a sense. And like painting is just that one thing I do for me. So in order for me to continue doing the work that I want to do, I need to find time for myself. It's like my self-care kind of thing, where like at least 1 hour a day, I need to do trees. I need to sit down or paint. I need to do something that I dedicate for myself. Because otherwise, then what am I doing?
Yeah. So it's your me time kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody needs their me time, and so you enjoy it in the me time. Sumaya, that was a great question. I don't know if you have any more questions for us, Sumaya.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Those are great answers.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Sumaya, and appreciate it. Showing everybody else that you can call in. I promise you, I'll figure out how to answer a phone call. But thank you so much, Sumaya. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, with that said, I do want to stick and respect everybody's time. I know everybody has somewhere to probably be after this. So, Abir, Sada, any final word you want to say?
No, I love it, and hopefully you guys are a part of a huge mural in the future.
inshallah, we should work on one together.
Yeah.
Sada, what are your final words?
Thank you for showing me what real art looks like.
Live?
Live?
Yeah.
No, but thank you guys for coming.
No,
Thank
seriously.
you guys for having us.
For sure.
Yeah.
Jenin, Razaan, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for those that watch or will eventually watch. Remember, you can see this later on Oz Media's YouTube page or listen to it later on Apple and Spotify podcasts. We hope you enjoyed the show this week. We want to give you guys a little bit scaled back. We've been having some pretty serious shows, so we want to have some fun today. We will be back next week, Tuesday. Hope you all tune in. Ramsey, if you want to close us out on OBS. Thank you all for watching.